The name Doug Marcaida is synonymous with blades on forged in fire. But even the most skilled warriors face unexpected challenges. Marcaida's journey wasn't without its setbacks, including a serious arm injury that tested his limits both on and off screen. Martial arts shows and films have kept us glued to our screens for quite a while. We all love our doses of kung fu, taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, and other iterations of the fast-paced action to varying degrees. There's a good chance you've heard of the name Doug Marcaida if you're a lover of martial arts. If you haven't, then you most likely have heard of his reality show, Forged in Fire, where he serves as a judge. Doug, in his capacity as a judge on Forged in Fire, is tasked with evaluating the most unique weapons that have been crafted by a rotating group of passionate blacksmiths. However, the work does not come without its share of difficulties. There was an instance where Doug sustained a serious injury while working on site. Doug Marcaida is a knives designer, an expert in edged weapons, and a martial artist. When it comes to Doug's early childhood, very little is known about him, and things have been kept so private that even his date of birth is still a mystery. However, we do know that Doug Marcaida was born in the Philippines, but later relocated to the United States for reasons related to his family. He's now a citizen of the United States of America, who calls upstate New York home. Doug's interest in martial arts began when he was 8 years old, but he did not start his formal training in the arts until he was 16. It was at the age of 25 that he first became interested in Filipino martial arts, and the rest, as they say, is history. The reality show judge has been successful in maintaining a high level of discretion regarding his personal life. However, he is a father to 3 sons, and he occasionally shares images of them on his various social media profiles. The weapons expert has had a stellar career, having been a U.S. military veteran who served in the U.S. Air Force for 8 years, as well as a weapons designer with Fox Knives Italy, and then pursued a career as a respiratory therapist for 20 years, all while teaching and honing his skills as a Filipino martial artist. He developed his interest and skill in weapons during his stint in the U.S. military. He initially focused on a version of martial arts known as Kali, whose origin is the Philippines. Kali uses improvised weapons, such as sticks and knives, and does not have a conventional belt system as opposed to other forms of martial arts. Doug is also known for his curved knife, which he calls a karambit. He makes them for direct action response theory, or DART. In addition to developing his own style, the Marcaida Kali, Doug has traveled all over the United States and the world, teaching first responders and military personnel the foundations of his beloved art. All of this life experience has led Doug to his core belief. It's not about how many you hurt, it's about how many you protect. This motto eventually evolved into Doug's popular catchphrase, "It will kill. Keep everyone alive." We'll dive more into that later on. Besides military service, the weapons expert has worked as a consultant during the development of several Hollywood films, such as 300, Blade, and the Bourne franchise. He was selected for this role due to his extensive skill in the art of improvised weapons, such as small knives and batons in combat. Doug is compensated well for his participation in the reality television show that airs on the History Channel. Additionally, he gets a significant amount of money from the sale of his swords, in addition to the substantial compensation that he receives from his contract with the United States Army. He's also a proud owner of 3 martial arts schools. 2 of them are based in New York, while the other one is in Romania. As stated by a number of reliable sources, it's speculated that he possesses a net worth that's somewhere in the neighborhood of $3 million as of the middle of 2022. The presence of Douglas Marcaida is also notable across a number of other social media sites. He has more than 107,000 followers on Instagram as a result of his habit of posting images of himself posing and fighting with a sword on the internet. He also runs a successful YouTube channel that has Filipino martial arts as the focal point. His channel boasts 79,500 subscribers and counting. In addition to this, he's an endorsement spokesperson for a variety of products that bring him a decent salary, and Marcaida appears to be leading a life that's comfortable at the present time. Doug is now featured as a judge on the History Channel's Forged in Fire, as well as Desafío Sobre Fuego Latin America. A longtime supporter of the brand, Doug has recently partnered up with 5.11 Tactical as a brand ambassador and knife designer, set to release the DM Talon series, comprising of a fixed and folding knife. Doug also has collaborations with K-Bar Knives, Bastinelli Creations, Max Venom, Fox Knives, and Jason Knight Knives. 20 years ago, Doug Marcaida made the decision to establish Marcaida Kali with his intention of honoring his enthusiasm for the arts. According to Doug, Marcaida Kali is his own unique interpretation of the many different styles of martial arts that originated in Southeast Asia and in which he received his own training. Doug has taken his expertise and transformed it into a method that is both teachable and replicable. He shares this system with his pupils as well as with his senior instructors. If you're considering training with them, there are a few things you ought to know. They have high standards in terms of teaching, training, and personal conduct, as they take the practices of Marcaida Kali very seriously. It's essential for practitioners to maintain a level of respect for the cultural legacy that lies behind and within the art while they're working on their training. It's expected of all those who participate in Marcaida Kali that they maintain their honor and integrity, both within and outside of the classroom. This is because students and representatives are expected to acquire the philosophy and techniques that underlie the art, and then employ these talents in a responsible and respectful manner. Marcaida Kali is taught in various locations across the United States, as well as in cities across the globe. FMA stands for Filipino Martial Arts and refers to an ever-evolving fighting system that originated in the Philippines. The most popular forms of FMA are known as Arnis, Eskrima, and Kali. Unlike other fighting arts, the FMA practitioner begins by learning how to defend against and use impact and edged weapons. Later, the practitioner uses those angles of the blade for their empty hand techniques. The practice of using weapons such as the baston or stick as a tool to learn body mechanics in empty hand applications helps the practitioner to develop a more combative mindset in their martial arts training. The History Channel started showing a show called Forged in Fire around the middle of the year in 2015. Contestants compete against one another in a competition to forge blades, and their performance is judged based on how well they are able to cut, how effective they are, and how easy they are to use if they're successful. With his significant combat skills and tactical prowess, he's one of the judges, and he uses these skills to rate and rank the competitors, as well as to provide his professional opinion regarding the forged weapons. The television program has been on the air for more than 4 seasons and has amassed a significant number of devoted followers. As a result of the series' considerable success, a spin-off was created. Forged in Fire, Cutting Deeper was the name of the new show, which continued the storyline of the program that came before it. The judges would provide guidance to the blacksmiths who were competing and would make weapons. The set, referred to as the forge, is stocked with a wide range of metalworking equipment, including propane forges, coal forges, grinders, power hammers, and hydraulic presses. Medical personnel are present to treat any injuries or any other health problems that may, at their discretion, disqualify smiths who are unable to continue safely. At the end of each round, the smith whose weapon was judged to be the least satisfactory must surrender it and leave the competition. In a typical episode, the 4 smiths are presented with a quantity of steel that they must use in the first round to forge a blade in a style of their choosing. In some episodes, they all begin with the same starting material. In others, they may choose from an assortment of metal objects or must salvage their material from a source such as a junked car or lawnmower. One of Doug's responsibilities as a judge on Forged in Fire is to evaluate the most unique weapons that have been created by a rotating group of enthusiastic blacksmiths. On the other hand, the job involves a number of difficulties. In at least one instance, Doug was injured severely while working on the set. The majority of fans are curious about what happened to Doug Marcaida's arm. After suffering an injury to his right arm while conducting a test, the reality show judge reportedly underwent surgical treatment, as stated in a message on social media for the purpose of addressing this matter. His failure to carry out certain responsibilities on the reality show was attributed to this injury. In every episode of Forged in Fire, 4 blacksmiths compete against one another to demonstrate their talents and come up with spectacular weapons in the hopes of winning the coveted title of Forged in Fire champion and a cash prize of $10,000. Accidents are more likely to occur in the studio because of the high-pressure environment and the exceptionally high temperature that exists there. On the set of Forged in Fire, so far, none of the contestants have sustained any injuries. As for Doug, on the other hand, the same cannot be said. During the filming of the 4th season of Forged in Fire, Doug was involved in an accident that occurred when he used a knife that was not in ideal condition on a dummy. During one of our exams, I had an injury. I was testing a heavy blade that was not very sharp against a dry, rubbery ballistics dummy, and the shock of the cut and impact injured my rotator cuff, Doug explained in an interview with Off Grid magazine. It was a very painful experience. Doug was forced to undergo surgery, and as a result, he was forced to wear a sling on his arm during a few episodes of Forged in Fire. Because he was temporarily unable to use his arm, he had to rely on other people to carry out some of the tests for him. On the 18th of October 2017, Doug published a post on Facebook in which he discussed his experiences. In it, he referred to the accident as a boo-boo, and then he made a commitment to view the incident as a chance to gain a better understanding of his physical condition. Doug is far from the first Forged in Fire star to experience unexpected complications, though he had to shoot a few episodes of Forged in Fire wearing an arm sling. However, one of his co-stars, Dave Baker, caused a far greater frenzy after showing up on the set of 101 Weapons That Changed the World with an eye patch. As he shared in a now-deleted Facebook post, he had to get a metal splinter removed from his eye, which necessitated the eye patch. Unlike Doug, Dave's injury doesn't appear to have happened during the shooting of Forged in Fire. There's a good chance that you have heard the expression, "it will keel," which was written out as K-E-A-L if you saw Forged in Fire, even for a brief period of time. On many occasions, this word has been misunderstood, and as a result, people have been led to believe that Doug has committed some heinous acts during his life, which is what could have prompted him to begin using that particular term. Not to mention that Doug has been in the limelight for only a short amount of time compared to most other celebrities, and he only got into the limelight much later on in his life. In light of this, there are many facts regarding Doug's background that we're not aware of, and many people believe that he's committed some terrible deeds in the past that we're just not aware of. And the reason we say this is because the phrase sounds uncannily close to the more frightening phrase, "it will kill." In actuality, this is the complete opposite of the meaning that he intended to convey. It's commonly believed that Doug Marcaida, who took part in the Forged in Fire competition as one of the judges, was the first person to think of the phrase. There are a lot of people who believe that the motto was created in order to make the show develop, to provide something that could be printed on stuff, and to give it an overall iconic vibe. Also, there are a few scenes that are considered to be of a somewhat scary nature, making them inappropriate for younger audiences and families. So what exactly does "it will keel" mean? Keep everyone alive is what the acronym KEEL stands for. To put it another way, the line emphasizes the significance of celebrating the art of forgery without causing any kind of harm to anyone. There are a series of tests that are both challenging and amusing that are performed on the weapons that are displayed on the show. The term "it will keel" is used in this context to refer to a design that has been successful in passing the test. The opposite, which is referred to as "it will not keel," indicates that a competitor was unable to design a blade that was strong enough to cut through any and all materials that could ever be imagined. The phrase continues to be a cause of confusion for fans who are relatively new to the show. Nonetheless, we hope that this has been able to explain things that were previously unclear about. Unfortunately, this would not be the last time that Doug would be involved in a controversy. Recent business ventures pursued by Doug Marcaida have been subjected to a great deal of criticism. For the benefit of those who are not familiar with it, Doug has established a website known as dougmarcaida.com, where he offers exclusive merchandise and occasionally even some weaponry that he or his firm has developed. In addition, this website appears to be well built, powerful, and easy to use, and it offers a great deal of service to its users. Using this website, he's been able to earn even more money, which has enabled him to continue living a life that's both comfortable and lavish. On the other hand, he also offers a course on this website, which requires folks to pay a fee in order to gain access to a comprehensive collection of video tutorials. When it comes to making tutorials, there's absolutely nothing wrong with doing so. Yet many individuals have a problem with the fact that those instructions need payment. A total of $6,000 is what Doug may charge. Now, this is an incredibly high fee for content that can be accessed for free on other platforms such as YouTube or even Facebook. There are a total of 17 video series available for purchase, all costing $60. Taking this into consideration, it will be necessary for you to pay a total of $1,000 in order to acquire all of the videos that will teach you how to forge. Wow, the cost is really significant. I would say that it's a substantial amount of money. Furthermore, it's not only for the content itself. In addition, it costs $1,020, which can be quite expensive for a lot of people who are just starting out in their careers, or who are on the younger side and do not have any sources of income. Additionally, it does not take into account all of the machines, materials, and metals that are required for the process of forging. When a course is charged at such a high level, it may discourage beginners from forging, which will ultimately be detrimental to the audience of the show, as well as to the public that will watch it in the future. So, did Doug Marcaida's forge drop during Forged in Fire? Well, the plot twist is that he's still quite alive and active. One thing is certain, Marcaida's reputation as a charming judge and accomplished bladesmith is permanently inscribed in the Forged in Fire Hall of Fame, even if the specifics of his leaving the program are not publicly revealed. Marcaida's influence on the show and the bladesmithing community is indisputable, whether he makes a comeback to the scorching furnace in the next seasons or keeps blazing his own path. Thank you for watching this video, and be sure to like it and subscribe to the channel for more thrilling videos like this one.